In this daily drop, I'm going to talk about 3 books, all by the same author, that had a profound, well, maybe not a profound, but a real impact on me when I was growing up. So let's go. All right, everybody, here we are wrapping up the week, episode 185 of the Daily Drop. And this one's going to be a little bit different. It's been quite a long time since I've done a book recommendation. And while this is going to be a book/author recommendation episode, it's a lot different than the ones I've done in the past, which have focused on books related to photography, cinematography, and just filmmaking as a whole. Now, when I went to high school, I was very fortunate to go to a school that had a very, very, very rigorous reading program. And I loved reading books. And, you know, there's the classics that I read: Fahrenheit 451, 1984, The Catcher in the Rye, David Copperfield, Atlas Shrugged, so on and so forth. And they all were great books in their own right. But there was a book by a particular author. His name is Irving Stone. And this book is actually from the library, and my son is going to be reading this shortly. And this book is called The Agony and The Ecstasy. It's a big book. It's got small point-size type, and I absolutely loved it. Now, I don't read a lot of books anymore. I do read manuals. I do read texts. I do, textbooks. I do read a lot of things related to what we do in our line of work. But novels are not something that I really read very often anymore. I just can't really get started on and read through them, maybe in my my retirement years. All right, so this book is about Michelangelo, and Irving Stone specializes in writing biographical novels. So what that means is heavily researched, but technically, even though they're biographical, they fall in the fiction, not nonfiction category. But unbelievable amounts of research. So this is, again, about Michelangelo. And it was really the first book that I ever read that was specifically focused on an artist. And that process, or not the process of creating art, though there's part of that in the book, but really sort of understanding from the author's point of view, of course, who that person was, and that time period that they lived in, and also their process and their contributions to the art world. And I was absolutely sucked in, mesmerized, taken away into another place. And it really had a huge impact on me in terms of the way I thought about an artist and their life and their commitment and their passion. So the next book that I read, a little bit smaller, is another book, not the next book, but the next book I read from this author, Irving Stone. It's called Lust for Life, and this is about Van Gogh. Also amazing, very vivid, drawn in, character development, absolutely phenomenal. Taking place, obviously, in a completely different period of time historically, but just another look at a different artist and sort of their journey and their life. And then this third book, which may actually be my favorite book that I've read by Irving Stone, which is called Depths of Glory. Now, similarities to Lust for Life in terms of time period, because we're talking about 2 books and 2 artists that had a lot to do with the Impressionistic time period of art. This is about Camille Pissarro, who is arguably like the grandpappy of Impressionism. And very, very different from these 2 tortured souls, Michelangelo and Van Gogh. And just a totally different tone, which is, I think, what makes this author so great, is heavily researched, biographical novels, but you really feel like you are inside of the artist's mind and understanding the way they're looking at the world. I understand that it's not nonfiction and it's not 100% historically accurate. But again, incredibly well researched. It started with this book for me. Again, The Agony and the Ecstasy. If you're looking for novels that have to do with artists and history, I highly recommend these three books. He's written other books about other historical figures, but to me, these are the three that I've read and had an impact. Again, maybe not profound, but they still stay with me and they still are part of the way I think in terms of art and artists. And you learn a lot of stuff too. So pretty cool stuff. I would check them out. Irving Stone, The Agony and the Ecstasy, boom, Lust for Life, there you go, and Depths of Glory. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.